We're heading to the end of the spring season, but the women of Troy continue to get it done.
Water polo and lacrosse remain undefeated. And another woman who's getting it done, tennis star Gabby Smith, joins me in the studio later. Roll it.
It's exhilarating. It's so emotional. I can't really come up with words for it, but it's so unbelievable. Third time, we got a couple more games to go. We're gonna see him again, but for now, it was exhilarating. It was unbelievable.
Welcome to the Annenberg Media Center. I'm Jackson Safon.
And I'm Rachel Frain.
Women's water polo goalie Amanda Longman is fired up, and with good reason, now that the team remains undefeated and #1 in the nation with just 2 games left in the regular season.
The women of Troy remain undefeated after a doubleheader on Saturday. At the start of the day, the Trojans took down rival and #2 ranked UCLA Bruins by the score of 8-5. They then followed up that win by dominating Redlands 23-0.
Obviously, the win against UCLA is one of the more important ones of the season, as the women of Troy will likely see the Bruins again in the postseason. UCLA's only 3 losses this season have all come to USC, so taking the series sweep for USC was no easy task. A large part of the Trojan success comes from star driver Stephania Harlabides, who scored 2 more goals against UCLA.
Harlabides now has 170 career goals, tying her at #8 all-time in career scoring at USC. Harlabides has also been named MPSF Player of the Week twice now this season.
After taking down #2, USC's schedule doesn't get any easier. They head up to the Bay to face #3 in the nation, Stanford. And the team knows that the Cardinal poses a similar challenge to UCLA.
I'm excited, always on my toes, always a little nervous, but with a team like Stanford, it's going to be just like playing UCLA or any of the top teams. And we're going to see what they bring to the table and what we bring to the table a week from now.
Stanford will definitely be a tough matchup for USC. The two teams are very similar when it comes to scoring and on defense. Both teams are at 19 wins, and Stanford's only losses actually come from USC and Cal, another top 10 team.
And one of Stanford's biggest threats is their goalie, Julia Herman. The last time USC saw Stanford, the game was decided by just 1 point, and in that game, Herman had 8 saves, part of the reason the match was so close. If the Trojans want to dominate, they're going to have to strike fast and really stretch out Herman to get her out of her comfort zone.
Another factor in Stanford's success is how deep their scoring core is. Like USC, the Lady Cardinals have a lot of players who are confident in their scoring abilities and are led by a strong driver in Jamie Neuschel. The Trojans will need to stay on top of the Cardinal defensively and help out Longan and Chamorro in goal.
With just 2 games left in the regular season, the Trojans have the chance to go undefeated for the first time in the program's history. The team is optimistic that this is the year to go the distance without a single loss.
It's definitely doable. And I think if there's going to be a team that does it, it's going to be us.
From one dominating women's team to the next, Alexa Palermo is here with us to take a look at the 2016 season for women's tennis. Alexa, the women of Troy have 1 game left. How have they done this season?
Thanks, Rachel. Overall, the USC women's tennis team is on fire lately. The team is ranked #24 in the nation and has an overall record of 11-4. But what is even more impressive is their 6-0 Pac-12 record. After losing 4 of their first 7 matches, the women of Troy have had 8 consecutive wins and 4 shutouts against major conference teams. The Trojans had 3 consecutive shutouts against Baylor, Oregon, and Utah. And as you can see here, the women of Troy have had 4 1/4 an average margin of victory over their opponents. The Trojans celebrated Senior Day during their last match. The players sadly said goodbye to Juliana Olmos and Paige Keating. Olmos is the team's captain and holds the #1 spot in singles. She has been dominating this season and is currently on a 7-match win streak. After getting rained out on Saturday, the Trojans dominated the ASU Sun Devils with a 4-0 shutout. USC is strong when it comes to doubles play and has won the doubles point in the last 8 games, propelling the team to victory. Freshmen Jessica Fala and Rihanna Valdez are 4-0 overall and come out swinging in each match. Madison Westby and Zoe Katz are 10-2 and ranked #56 in the nation. But the real MVP of doubles play are Juliana Olmos and Gabby Smith. The duo is 13-7 overall this season and ranked #8 in the nation. USC's last loss was to UCLA back in February. The women of Troy hope to keep their hot streak alive when they take on the Lady Bruins on Sunday at Marks Stadium for their regular season finale. Now let's send it over to Jackson, who is sitting down with one of tennis's own.
The USC women's tennis team is coming off 8 consecutive wins, and they host UCLA in their regular season finale this weekend. I'm joined by a member of the Women of Troy, Gabby Smith. Gabby, thanks for joining me.
No problem.
So your team got off to a little bit of a slow start this season. You started 3-4, but now you've got 8 straight wins. So what's really contributed to that turnaround?
We've been putting in a lot of work on the practice court and just training really hard. We didn't really let our losses get us too down, and our coaches were just really hopeful for the rest of the season because it was really early in the beginning when we weren't doing so hot. So we just kept our heads up, and it's gotten a lot better.
So with only 2 seniors on the team, one of them is Juliana, almost your doubles partner, but only 2 of them, you've sort of been thrust into a leadership role as only a sophomore. What's that been like for you?
It's been pretty fun. Before this year started, I was like, wow, we're a really young team, so we're going to have to step it up. And beginning of the season, obviously, we were kind of nervous, and I kind of let that just, like, get in my head a little bit, like, oh, I have this huge leadership role. But I kind of forgot about that and just played and just not really thought about it as much as just, like, let it happen. And it's been really fun.
So Juliana wasn't your doubles partner last year, but she is this year. Now you guys are up as ranked the 8th pair in the country.
Yes, I didn't know that.
What's it been like playing with her, a senior, someone who's so established and having so much success?
We actually played at the beginning of the year last year, and we had a really good record. We won like 2 out of 3 of the tournaments that we played. So this year when we got to play together, I was really excited, and it's been super fun playing with Juju. We just have a great time. And you guys can't see what we say to each other, but we're just having a great time every match, so it's really fun.
So you guys sort of had your senior day this past weekend. You had a little trouble because of the rain-out match, but obviously it's your doubles partner, one of your better friends in the team. What's it like sending her off and seeing her leave like that? Not yet, but soon.
I've been dreading senior day for a long time, honestly, because Juju's one of my closest friends, and then also she's a huge part of the team. So it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it would be, but when it was happening, I was like, wow, I can't believe we're at this point today. But it's really fun. I'm really glad that I've had the time with her that I have, and I'm excited for what's in store for her in the future.
So your coach, Richard Gallion, has been here for 21 years. He's super established. Yeah. He's won several Coach of the Year awards, a lot of top 20 finishes. What have you learned from such an established and esteemed coach?
Richard's just a very level-headed guy, and he really looks at things really realistically. The world doesn't revolve around tennis, which you think it does for him. He really just wants us to be happy in our lives and to be branching out, not just in tennis, but getting the whole college experience. So it's really great being with him, and I think I've become a better person being coached by him. Just he always talks about building character, so we really focus on that a lot.
Obviously a big UCLA match to close the regular season. You guys lost them in Westwood earlier this year. So how excited are you for Sunday?
We're all pretty pumped. We're really excited because we didn't think that we had a great showing against them last time. And to play them here at home, and we're playing with the guys at the exact same time for doubles. And so that'll be really fun. Hopefully we get a lot of fans out there and it gets all rowdy. It'll be really fun.
Well, awesome, man. Good luck on Sunday, and good luck the rest of the season. That's all the time we have. Thank you, Gabby, for joining me. You can catch Gabby and the rest of the Women of Troy on Sunday at Mark Stadium against UCLA. But for more on another dominating women's team here at USC, let's go to Josh and Angel.
Thanks, Jackson. Well, today we're taking the show outside of the studio. We're about 100 yards away from the Annenberg Media Center, camped out here at Cromwell Field to break down what's been going on with the USC women's lacrosse team. Women of Troy are off to a 13-0 start, a record-breaking start for the team. And I'm Angel Viscarra, and I'm here with Josh Cohen, and we're going to break down what's been going on with the team and what are 3 main factors to their success so far. So, Josh, what's the first reason for the team's success?
First reason's got to be number 2 up top. Michaela Michael continues to get it done, over 70 points on the season. She finds the back of the net so well, but a lot of it's when the ball is not in her stick. The movement off the ball creating so much space and opportunities for her teammates. It's a big reason why. But at the other end, reason number 2. Tell me about it.
Reason number 2 for the team has been Gussie Johns. In the goal, the sophomore goalie has been a stud this whole season. She's a multiple-time MPSF Defender of the Week, only allowed 10 goals once this season. It was against Stony Brook way back on March 14th. So she's been doing a great job in the net, really leading a defense for USC that's become one of the premier ones in college lacrosse today. So the whole defense, it's been a united effort. Can you go a little bit into the job the defensive unit's done for the team?
That's right. It's not just been Gussie in between the pipes. The whole defense has been elite. And you talk to head coach Lindsay Monday, she'll tell you it's all 7 defenders getting it done. Middies working back tirelessly to contribute at the defensive end. They all hold themselves accountable. They all get it done, and they're led by their senior, the anchor, Courtney Tarleton, a turnover machine, causing 33 turnovers already this season. So fun to watch. She continues to get it done, and the defense as a whole playing at a very, very high level.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it's really been a united effort for the team. They got 4 matches remaining this season. That perfect season is within reach for them. They're 13-0, one of 2 remaining undefeated teams in college lacrosse today. We'll see how the team can finish. Like you mentioned, some big matchups this weekend. They head out Midwest to take on some big schools, Northwestern and Notre Dame. So we'll see how the team fares. And actually, right now, we're going to send out to Cindy, who has Ask an Athlete with a member of the women's lacrosse team.
Hey everyone, I'm Cindy Robinson here with Kylie Drexel from the lacrosse team. Gonna get a little Ask an Athlete segment going on. She has 60 seconds to answer all the questions, as many questions as she can. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Here we go. What's your favorite food?
Probably cheese. Pizza also.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Everything. Probably chips and sweets.
Favorite pregame song?
It used Bet You Can't Do It Like Me.
Ooh, okay, I like that, okay. What is your hidden talent?
I can make a dolphin noise.
Really? Wow. Okay, favorite place to shop?
Surf shops, any surf shop.
Favorite sport besides lacrosse?
Basketball.
Ooh. Did you play in high school?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite class?
That's hard. I guess business, marketing.
Okay. Favorite hobby outside of sports?
Outside of sports, surfing, but I'm not very good.
Oh, okay, that's fun. Nice, California. Who is the funniest teammate?
Michaela, probably.
Favorite way to celebrate a win?
Dancing.
There we go. We got it. That was 60 seconds.
The USC football team was joined by a number of legendary alumni at spring practice this past Saturday. Former quarterback Matt Leinart and running back Marcus Allen, Sam Cunningham were joined by 26 others on Howard Jones Field. Naturally, Trojan football fans, along with current and past players, took to social media to talk about this special practice. Head coach Clay Helton tweeted, "The running backs enjoying lunch with some legends. Hashtag faith family football, hashtag only at USC, hashtag fight on." The team had a big Trojan barbecue after practice with all the former players. Owner and publisher of USCFootball.com, Ryan Abraham, tweeted, "Clay Helton said he doesn't get starstruck with Hollywood stars, but he does for former USC football stars. Tons of them here today." Helton says he wants to continue establishing relationships between former and current players. He invited all of the alumni to future practices so players can see the tradition of excellence that the program stands for. Former Trojan quarterback Matt Leinart Instagrammed a picture of the 29 alumni, captioning, "Thank you, Clay Helton, for reconnecting the past with the present. Once a Trojan, always a Trojan. Fight on. Hashtag legends." It was definitely a practice to remember. That's all for this week's look at social media. For more on USC football's final week in spring, back to you, Rachel. The USC football team will hit the Coliseum this Saturday for their annual spring game, where hopefully some questions about next year's team will be answered. Here to break down some of the biggest issues facing the Trojans heading into fall is Polo Uggetti. Thanks for joining me, Palo.
Thanks for having me.
The biggest question heading into fall will be the quarterback battle. With Cody Kessler gone, there will be a couple guys battling for the position this fall, mostly Max Brown and Sam Darnold. But how wide is the battle truly, and what can Sam Darnold do to kind of bring up his chances?
Well, I think heading into the spring, we knew that Max was going to be the leader, and he's the incumbent. He's the one who expected to start. So there was going to be a lot of pressure on Sam to go above and beyond what he's expected to do to really show that, you know, he had a chance of competing with the job. Lately, in the past few weeks of spring practice, Coach Clay Helton has been really adamant about how much Sam has improved and how much his accuracy has improved. So for the spring game specifically, for Sam to really continue to make this a closer battle, he's definitely going to be. We know he can move. We know he's a dynamic in the pocket and outside the pocket. But to show that he has the same accuracy and maybe arm strength as Max, that is really going to put him, in contention with the spot more often. I still think it's going to be Max Brown, and I really expect Coach Helton to name him the starter sooner rather than later. But Sam, he's not out of it. So it'll be interesting to see how how that battle develops in the spring game.
Right, like you said, Max Brown's probably going to be starting this Saturday, but that doesn't mean that Darnold's totally ruled out for the position come fall. Moving from the obvious quarterback battle, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the huge receiver core at USC right now. So obviously you have Juju Smith-Schuster at the top position, but who else is really looking to get in some reps this fall?
Well, it's pretty clear that the wide receiver core is probably the strength of this team. They have so many different weapons. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put all the wide receivers into different tiers. You mentioned Juju Smith-Schuster. Obviously, he is the number one guy, was the number one receiver last year, and he's expected to be the number one receiver this year again. But what's happened this spring, and a lot of the coaches it's been a blessing in disguise because he's been a little bit injured. So it's allowed other guys to really step into the fold and show kind of how they can contribute this fall. So guys like Darius Rogers, who I think, I'm going to put him right in between here because I think he has potential to be up in that tier 1. But right now he's kind of fluctuating in between tier 2 and tier 1. He's not really fully shown yet he can do it, but he has all the tools to do that. Also, a guy like Stephen Mitchell, I would say he also has the potential to go to tier 1. But right now, I'm going to put him at tier 2 for now. He hasn't, like I said, he has gotten great springs in the past before, but we really need to see how he's going to perform in the fall to really put him in that tier 1. Guys like Deontay Burnett and DeQuan Hampton, who this is their opportunity to really show why they came to USC, why they, as a blue shirt or as a transfer. I think Deontay has really shown a lot this year, and I think that's why he should be in tier 2 as well. And Isaac Whitney, a lot of people forget about him, but him and Max worked a lot last year because they were both kind of in that second team. So the chemistry between them is really good, and I think that come the fall, that could be a duo to watch for sure. And then you got guys like DeQuan Hampton, Josh Imatorbhebhe, and Michael Pittman, who are the incoming guys, Josh and Michael specifically, who, they've shown really good potential so far. The coaches have been praising them, but I think they all fall obviously into the tier 3 because they're still kind of getting their feet under them and really showing, they know that they have to perform well. The spring game is going to be a great chance for all these guys because they really, they're allowed to go out there and just go off and really show how they can have chemistry with whether it's Max or whether it's Sam. But obviously, as you can see here, a lot of really talented wide receivers. So the quarterbacks will have plenty of options to choose from.
Right, and to add one more guy to this core, you've got Janae Harris. He's a redshirt sophomore now. He's just coming off a big hip injury from last fall. So we'll see how he does this game and see how he transitions into fall. But a big concern from this spring has been the defensive line, from injuries to inexperience. What are your concerns for the defensive line this fall?
Well, it's clear defensive line, as we talked about the wide receivers being a strength, defensive line is probably the weakness. As you can see here, 173 total tackles lost from the 5 senior D linemen who graduated last year. That's a lot of guys. Guys like Delvon Simmons, Greg Townsend Jr., Claude Pillon, Cody Temple, all these guys who graduated, this is where the position where USC is lacking. And then Kenny Bigelow goes down with an injury. So there's a lot of uncertainty at the position. Guys like Rasheem Green are going to have big spring games to, really quell the doubts and really, make fans realize that, maybe the defensive line is not in such bad shape. But obviously with Clancy Pendergast coming into the fold as the defensive coordinator, they've been really aggressive. And as far as practice, you see them out there, they're really, showing that despite their youth, they're able to go out and perform. So they'll definitely be a position group to keep an eye on in the spring game.
Right, and this is why we play a spring game, to see who's ready, who needs to step up, and who just still needs some work before they can actually get reps in this fall. Well, thanks for joining me today, Polo. And the Trojans set to face off in the Coliseum at 3 p.m. this Saturday, where fans can hope to gain a little more insight on what to expect this fall. USC has a historic swim program, but head coach Dave Sallow doesn't just train Trojans. Future Olympians from all over the world flock to LA to be conditioned by the esteemed coach. Brian Bencomo has the story.
Dozens of swimmers hoping to go to the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro this summer are training at the Utanksu Aquatic Center at the University of Southern California.
40, 41, 42, 43!
Dave Sallow has drawn many of them here.
I realized Dave Sallow was the coach here.
Stina Gardell came from Sweden.
My coach back home was speaking really well with him.
Dave Sallow is like world class, and he's very well known in Poland as a great coach.
That's right. Pavel Furtek heard about Sallow in Poland. Sallow's reputation even motivated Rebecca, a swimmer from the tiny island nation of Bermuda, to try to make the USC team.
Actually, when I graduated high school, I contacted him asking, could I join the college team, and he said no. So I came here and I trained with the pro team for a year, and I think I proved myself, and the following year he said, okay, welcome to the team.
At least 26 Olympic hopefuls from 17 different countries, including Russia, New Zealand, Venezuela, and even Syria, swim here.
Kind of a UN of swimmers here at USC. We're international. We pride ourselves on that. It creates a unique environment for these kids to work together for a common goal, that being the Olympic Games.
Why do they all come here? One reason might be Salo's track record of having trained over 100 Olympians since 1992, with at least one medalist in every Olympic Games since 1996.
The University of Southern California prides itself on Olympic participation. We're really proud of the fact that we've had an Olympic gold medalist in every Olympic Games since 1896. So there's an environment of expectation.
For instance, 2012 Olympic silver medalist Thiago Pereira from Brazil also swims at USC. The opportunity to swim alongside and compete against elite athletes like him is another big draw for Olympic hopefuls.
It's definitely awesome to raise world-class swimmers in practice.
Competition-wise, students training isn't that high. Back in Sweden, I didn't have a lot of people to race for my events.
Just being surrounded by NCAA champions, Olympians, I don't know, people that are just so well known in the swimming world. I'm just so lucky and blessed to be able to have the opportunity to train with them every single day and have them push me to be better and better than what I think I can do.
Be better here, guys. Be better. Better and faster.
Combining all this with the chance to get an education at USC and
Weather.
The weather.
I wanted somewhere hot.
It's no surprise that swimmers from all over the world are drawn here. In Los Angeles, Brian Bencomo, Annenberg Media.
Miss out on Trojan sports this weekend? Here's an update on your USC sports teams from the diamond to the court. It's time to light the torch. This weekend on the diamond, the Trojans won their 3-game series against the Utah Utes. The Trojans were hot at the plate, led by A.J. Ramirez, who earned Pac-12 Player of the Week honors. Ramirez batted .538 in just his last 4 games with 2 homers and 5 RBIs. The series win is big for the team, but they're always looking ahead to their next matchup.
You know, it's all about what do we do Tuesday against Pepperdine, and then we have to worry about Oregon next weekend. You know, who's coming off a big weekend against Cal. So it's just, you got to play well. Every game that we play in our league, and especially with our schedule.
On the court, the men's volleyball team finished their season with a 3-set loss to number 1 ranked BYU. USC finished the season with a 7-19 record with 5 wins in conference. It was a rough season for the Trojans, and it was their most overall losses since 2005. Because of their record, the team will miss out on MPSF postseason play. But it was a great weekend on the sand for the beach volleyball team as they competed at the USAV Beach Collegiate Challenge. The women of Troy claimed 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place in the bronze bracket, as well as claiming 2nd place in the silver bracket. Juniors Kelly Claes and Sarah Hughes won the USAV tournament title and were named Pac-12 Pair of the Week. The duo has won a remarkable 52 straight matches and is 27-0 on the season. That's it for Lighting the Torch this week. Back to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel. This past weekend marked one of my favorite sporting events in the spring, the Masters. This year, a future Trojan had the chance to play with some of the sport's top players.
That's right, Rachel. 18-year-old Cheng Jin was invited to play in Augusta after winning the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship. Jin was 13 over after 2 days and unfortunately did not make the cut to move on.
Jin will take his talents from his hometown of Beijing to Los Angeles this fall when his name is officially added to the already stacked men's golf roster.
I mean, that's really impressive. He was 13 over, but at Augusta, it's amazing. What was your favorite moment from the Masters this weekend?
I couldn't say my favorite moment, but probably the most heartbreaking thing was watching Jordan Spieth just give it all away. That had to hurt for him.
I'm a big fan of Louis Oosthuizen, and seeing his hole-in-one on 16 after it hit his partner's ball and it went in, that's pretty amazing.
Yep. Well, that's all we have this week. Be sure to tune in next week as we wrap up the USC spring football season.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SportsCNUSC, like us on Facebook, and check us out at uscannenbergmedia.com. We'll see you next week.